What's up guys? Today we're going to be showing you how to install SuperATV's quick mount winch on a Polaris RZR XP 1000. So let's get right to it. So the first thing you're going to do is install your winch mount to your machine. We're going to show you a high overview of how the winch mount installs the machine, but if you want a more in-depth video, check the link below to see our Polaris RZR XP 1000 winch and winch mount install. First things first, go ahead and remove your passenger side wheel and tire. Then we're going to disconnect our shock from our A-arm. Remove the nut off of your bolt, lift up to remove tension, remove the shock bolt, stick your hardware right back through, just like this. Then we're going to grab a strap, wrap it around the cage, tie our shock up out of the way. So now we're going to remove the vent tube off the top of the differential. So now we're just going to put it out of the way here, like so. Now we're going to slide our winch mount into place. Once our winch mount's in place, we're going to install our hardware, utilizing the factory holes. Now we're going to remove the wheel and tire from the driver's side. Move our shock hardware. Tire shock up out of the way. Like so. So you want to cut the zip tie off of your rope. Click your winch into free spool. Pull some slack out. Just like that. And then we're going to install the winch and make sure that we run our winch cable through the hole in the frame on the machine. So we're going to take our winch cable, get it slid through, then take our winch, push our radiator hose up out of the way, get our winch slid into position. We want to line the holes on the winch up with the holes on the winch mount. Just like so. Now we want to grab our M8 bolts with a flat washer and a lock washer, and we're just going to put our bolts through our winch mount. I like to tighten the winch in an X pattern. So we did the front one on this side, we're going to do the rearmost one on the opposite side. Now we're going to reinstall our vent tube. Then, be sure to use your pliers to install your clamp. So if you've never had a winch mount installed on your machine before, you're gonna have a factory piece of fascia here. You'll wanna remove that by removing the 2 T25 Torx. Obviously ours is already removed, so we're gonna locate these 4 13mm bolts and go ahead and remove them completely. Once you remove the hardware, grab your Fairlead mount. Using the factory provided hardware, install the Fairlead mount. And you want to make sure they're oriented just like ours are. So we're going to grab our 2 Allen-headed bolts, 2 of our M8 nuts, 2 flat washers, and 2 lock washers, as well as our Fairlead. As you can see on the Fairlead, it has a machine side and a flat side. The machine side, or the recessed side, is where your Allens are going to go through. You're going to line it up with the hole on your Fairlead mount, install your flat washer, then a lock washer, then a nut, flip it up, line it up with the hole in the Fairlead mount. On the opposite side, install your flat washer and lock washer. Then you're going to adjust your Fairlead around until it sits straight and fully tighten your hardware. So now we're going to fully tighten our hardware. Hardware's good and tight. Now we're going to grab our plate, slide our rope through it, slide it up in position, then utilize the factory T25s to line it up on the bottom. Get our hardware started. Now remove the grill by pulling down on these 2 tabs, lifting up. Now we're going to take our M6 bolt, slide it through the hole on the bracket, and then the hole in the frame, and put our nut on the back side. Like so, and then we're going to fully tighten these 2 bolts as well as our T25s. Now we're going to fully tighten our hardware. So now you want to grab your long Allen-headed hardware as well as your nuts and flat washers out of the kit, as well as your stop block. So we're going to take our stop block and the side that is open, as you can see that side's closed, the side that's open is going to go towards the front or away from the machine. And we're going to take our hardware, slide it down through our stop block. Then put our flat washers and our nuts. Once we have all our hardware started, we'll just go ahead and fully tighten it. I like to get mine all the way out on the rope as far as possible before I tighten it. Now we're going to fully tighten it. Should look just like this. So now we're going to remove our cotter pin from our hook, pull the pin out, line the hole on the hook up, slide the pin through, and then reinstall our cotter pin. And you'll just want to bend this cotter pin away from itself, that way it stays locked in. Now we'll grab our pull strap, slide it on, just like this. Now we're gonna head to the top of the machine and start the wiring. So now we're gonna go ahead and remove our hood. Just twist your latches, slide the hood down, we'll set it aside. So now we're gonna reach down and grab our hot and ground lead that's attached to our solenoid, and then remove our nuts off of our bus bar on our ground post as well as our hot post. So that'll be the center post and the far right post. I already loosened the nuts. It's a 10mm shallow well, thin wall. We're gonna take our wiring, run it straight up, just like so. Then we're gonna take our ground, slide it on the center, and our hot, and slide it on the far right. Go ahead and get our nuts started. So now we're going to grab a T40 Torx and remove this screw as well as this one here. Now we're going to come to the corner of the dash and remove this T40. Then go to the opposite side, do the same thing. So we're going to come to the center of the dash, locate our 2 push pins, get a push pin removal tool, remove the push pin. Go ahead and remove this bezel off. Then we're going to grab a hold of the dash, on the front and back and lift up. Pull straight up, slide the dash inward, remove it and set it aside. So now we're gonna grab our harness, figure out which spot you wanna put your rocker switch. You can put them in any of them. We're just gonna slide our harness through. Make sure the winch in is facing up. Pop it into the slot, just like that. Then we're gonna go to the top of the dash where we had just removed our dash panel. So now we're gonna grab our wiring. Pull it up. So now we're gonna feed our plug through this grommet on the firewall. Like so. We're going to remove our nut off of our far left keyed on power source post. Slide our terminal that is on our rocker switch harness. Let's go ahead and start the nut. Then we're just going to drop our harness straight down through the bracket on the frame. The way it lays nice and clean. And we're going to plug it in to our solenoid. And we're going to plug it into our pigtail coming off of the solenoid, and then take our nut that's on the plug and just fasten it, get it good and tight, and then we'll just pull our excess back up in underneath the dash. We don't want any excess outside laying around here to where it could get caught up in the fan or anything. Then we're going to go through and fully tighten all three of our connections here. So now all you have to do is tie your wires up however you see is best. This machine has a couple accessories wired in already, so we're probably just going to take this wire here, fasten it over out of the way, just make sure it looks good and clean, everything's tucked out of the way. So now grab your winch remote out of your kit, depress both buttons down with the key on the machine. You want to make sure that you lock your winch back in. And as you can see, you can spool your winch in utilizing your wireless remote. Just like that, you can go in or out, just like so. So now with the key in the on position, you can come here to your winch rocker switch, run it in, or out. So now that you've tested your winch, you know everything functions good, you've got all your wires tied up out of the way. All you need to do now is reinstall any components that you've removed, and that's all there is to it to install SuperATV's quick mount winch on this Polaris RZR XP 1000. Be sure to check the description below for a link to pick yours up today. While you're there, drop a like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.